Let me tell you something most people never hear in a lifetime. Not because it's hidden, but because it's easier to laugh at it than to test it. You've been taught that life is a struggle, that everything valuable must be fought for, that if you stop pushing, everything collapses. That pressure is proof you're doing it right, but what if the opposite were true? What if the tension you feel is not the engine of change, but the brake? Think about that for a second. Not philosophically, practically. How many times have you tried to force something into place, tried to think harder, push harder, worry harder, only to feel more stuck? Most people believe the mind is a single thing, one voice, one will, one direction. But your inner world is more like a system with different departments, each with a different job. There is the thinking mind, the part that compares, analyzes, measures, predicts. It deals in evidence. It believes what it sees. There is the deeper mind, the part that runs habits, emotions, reflexes. It doesn't argue. It accepts what it's given and turns it into experience. And then there is a quieter layer, the place where insight arrives fully formed, not reasoning, not guessing, knowing. Problems begin when the thinking mind tries to command everything through force. It sees an obstacle and tightens. It sees uncertainty and panics. It believes effort equals control. But the deeper mind doesn't respond to force. It responds to direction. And direction is not created by tension. It is created by impression. Whatever you repeatedly feel is real, it begins to treat as instruction. If you carry fear, it reads danger. If you carry lack, it reads scarcity. If you carry struggle, it reads resistance. It doesn't judge, it executes. That's why fighting a problem often strengthens it. Attention is energy, resistance is focus, and focus feeds structure. So the question becomes uncomfortable but powerful. What if the way out is not pushing harder, but releasing the push? Now this does not mean becoming passive. It does not mean ignoring reality. It means something much more precise. It means removing emotional opposition while maintaining clear intention. Picture holding a rope in a tug-of-war. The harder you pull, the harder the other side pulls back. But the moment you release, the dynamic collapses. The force existed in the struggle. Many people hear this and immediately think, if I stop worrying, everything will fall apart. But notice something. Worry has never solved a problem. It only rehearses it. There is a state, calm, steady, attentive, where action becomes clearer, not weaker, where decisions feel guided rather than forced, where solutions appear without strain. That state is not fantasy. It is simply what happens when the inner noise quiets enough for deeper intelligence to surface. You've experienced it before. A sudden idea that solved something instantly. An urge to call someone that changed everything. A clear no or yes that arrived without debate. Those moments didn't come from pressure. They came from stillness. But here's the part most people miss. Letting go of resistance creates space, and space must be filled intentionally. If you drop fear but replace it with nothing, old patterns return. The mind does not tolerate a vacuum. It moves toward the strongest impression available. So after releasing tension, something new must take its place. Not forced belief, not denial of reality, but a steady orientation toward what you choose to experience. Not I hope things work out, not I'm trying to believe, but a quiet internal stance that says, the solution exists, and I am available to it. This shift is subtle, but it changes everything. Instead of carrying the weight alone, you transfer the burden. Not by pretending the problem is gone, but by refusing to keep gripping it mentally. You acknowledge the limit of force and open the door for guidance. And here is something important. When you truly release a burden, relief is immediate. Circumstances may not change instantly, but your inner pressure does. That relief is not weakness. It is alignment. Now comes the part that challenges most people. After releasing resistance, there is often a delay before outer results shift. During that time, the old impulse returns. Check, worry, analyze, control. But every time you pick the problem back up emotionally, you restart the cycle. So what do you do in that space between intention and outcome? You live as though movement is already underway. not reckless behavior, not pretending facts don't exist, but a change in posture. You carry yourself with steadiness. You speak without rehearsing disaster. You make choices from trust instead of fear. You prepare inwardly and outwardly for resolution. Imagine ordering a meal at a restaurant. You don't storm the kitchen every 5 minutes to make sure it's being cooked. You don't sit there panicking that they forgot. You settle in because you trust the process you initiated. That same posture applies here. When resistance drops, something remarkable happens. Perception sharpens. Opportunities that were invisible become obvious. Conversations shift. Timing aligns. Not because reality magically rearranges itself, but because you are no longer blocking pathways with tension. From that clarity comes guidance. And guidance rarely arrives as a dramatic revelation. It comes as a simple impulse. Send the message. Take the walk. Decline the offer. Try the idea. True guidance is calm. It does not argue. It does not beg. It simply presents direction. Fear feels urgent. Insight feels clear. Learning to tell the difference changes the course of a life. But there is one more piece that matters deeply. Energy strengthens in silence. When you immediately broadcast every intention, every hope, every fragile beginning, you expose it to doubt, both yours and others. Some things grow best in quiet attention, like roots forming before a plant breaks the surface. So you hold your direction inwardly, you act on guidance, you stay steady. You allow unfolding, and gradually something shifts inside you that no external result can replace. You stop seeing yourself as someone fighting life. You begin to see yourself as someone participating in it. You notice that calm is not emptiness, it is power without friction. You notice that clarity emerges when struggle softens. You notice that outcomes begin to mirror your inner posture. And then the most liberating realization arrives. You are not here to force reality. You are here to cooperate with possibility. You possess attention, and attention shapes experience. You possess imagination, and imagination directs the deeper mind. You possess choice, and choice determines orientation. It is about mastering where you place your inner weight. Right now, you could choose one situation that feels immovable. Just one. Instead of wrestling it, you could release the emotional grip. Instead of rehearsing fear, you could allow stillness. Instead of demanding immediate proof, you could remain available to solution. Not forever. Just long enough to see what happens when resistance dissolves. Because beneath the noise, beneath the tension, beneath the habit of struggle, there is an intelligence already moving toward balance, resolution, and growth. You don't create that movement. You stop interrupting it. And when you do, something quietly extraordinary occurs. Life stops feeling like something you must survive, and starts feeling like something willing to meet you halfway. So breathe. Loosen the grip. Let the mind become still enough to hear what has been trying to reach you all along. You may discover that the strength you were searching for was never in the struggle. It was in the stillness that remains when the struggle ends.